So, a lot of us struggle with being this highly sensitive person, and that's something I've always really identified with is just having these emotions that are huge for what the situation might otherwise call for. What one might think that, yeah, like that's what this situation would call for. Well, my reactions might far outweigh that, and it's a kind of interesting point of not really contention, but just of like, it's just a point of frustration a lot of times because it's like, what's going on? Here I am. Here's the situation. It's something that I want to do. It's something that seems fun, or it's something that is a normal obligation, like going to work. Something that is a common thing to have to do, you know? It's like, and I get it. A lot of people don't like it. Yeah. But it can also be applied to other things, things that are fun, going on trips, going on vacation. This highly, highly sensitive part inside that just, gets overwhelmed with that kind of thing and wants to like things like, I don't know, going to a bar, for example. But the truth is, do I enjoy that? On rare occasions, yes. But I need to drink to enjoy that. It's not the kind of thing where I just go and I love it, because there is just this energy around that is just disgusting. It's that same guttural, just gross, almost like sickening feeling of being in that space with that kind of energy. And that nothing really good comes out of drinking, in the sense that you're around people who are drinking for a reason, whatever that reason may be. But it's almost like you can smell the dysfunction, like in the air, That's a good way to put it. You can almost smell the dysfunction in the air. And it's something that causes me to isolate a little bit sometimes and be a bit antisocial, because I'm so averse to dysfunction. I hate drama. I hate anything like that because it's so painful. It's not like I just hear drama and go, oh, and this happened, this happened, this happened. This is a physical, mental, spiritual, emotional experience that occurs in my body. When I am involved in something like that, or hear about it, or it's someone I am close to is involved in it, it isn't just something that I can laugh off and go, oh, haha, and I like to gossip. I mean, I hate gossip because it is something that feeling punches me in the chest or in the stomach or wherever it may be. And it's been a place of a lot of frustration for me and sadness, because I want so badly a lot of the time to be able to relate and have these different experiences with people or experience situations, and it's a confusing experience when like things like, say, I don't know, going to a bar or club might be something that is, I think anyways, and there's all kinds of different people around, but I think it's viewed as something that, oh yeah, when you're in your 20s, for example, that's fun. People do that, love doing that. I just don't like doing it, and I've tried and tried and tried to get myself to like it. I really have. I have tried and tried to get myself to like doing things like that, and I just do not. That feeling is just disgusting, because it's like I'm sniffing out the dysfunction. And I'm someone that aims to live a healthy life, one of emotional health, physical health. I mean, I want that. And do I do everything perfectly? Absolutely not. But I can strive, right? And I think, aware enough. And I think a lot of us are aware enough. And that's why it hurts, is when you're aware enough to notice that it isn't just the normal thing, that wait a minute, there's something not right about this. And it's just, the kind of environment that just is okay with dysfunctional patterns. And I am trying to get away from dysfunctional patterns, and that's hard in a culture that sometimes it appears to me to celebrate that. It looks to me sometimes like the culture celebrates dysfunctional patterns, and that's the cool thing to do. And it's not. And I'm here to tell you, it is not the cool thing to do. I exist, right? And I'm telling you right now, those things are just not for me. And does that mean I'm never going to try it again because maybe I want to go outside my comfort zone? Maybe I want to just retry it and see if anything changed, or maybe the situation is different and it's something I will enjoy. yeah, so, I may try it again, but overall just acknowledging that no, it's not for everyone. It's not for everyone. And so just, yeah, just find out what is for you. But yeah, when you're a highly sensitive person, those things they hit you, and it's not a little thing. It's not a little thing. And I've spent a lot of time thinking that something's wrong with me for being highly sensitive like that. It's like, well, look, other people enjoy this, or other people aren't so affected by whatever drama, and people like talking about it, it seems. But so why is it hitting me so hard? Why is it causing me to almost feel sick? What is this? What is this? Is there something wrong with me? And it's something I've thought for a long time, and sometimes I still do think that, but the thing is I'm getting out of it, and I know that it can't possibly be true, because I know there is nothing wrong with me for that, and there's nothing wrong with you if you feel that either. It could be related to our nervous system. How wound up is our nervous system? Also, there's a different aspect, which is maybe it's your soul screaming at you to not partake in what you know is dysfunctional, and you may not logically see that yet because you're so caught up in what you should do, what's probably a right thing to do, what's the cool thing to do. But your soul knows, look, that is an environment that is full of things that are not helping us, full of things that are not furthering our, not furthering our growth and not furthering our health. And so it tells you stop, it tells you don't do that. And then a lot of times though, our brain can still override it. Nope, I'm gonna, and then, you may or may not suffer for that. So that is what it is. That is what it is. But anyways, I'm sure there's got to be a point to this other than just kind of relating to you and saying that I understand that, I feel it, and it hurts. And the truth is I go through a lot of days feeling this inexplicable almost pain that I don't know where it's from, and I try my best to breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Identify that pain, where's it at? And it can be a frustrating existence for us highly sensitive people, because we just want to fit in and we want to feel like other people, we want to have that's not even right to say, it's more that we want to have an easier experience. It's not that easy having a sensitive experience where things have edges, where things are pokey, where things that seem little are pokey and rough and they hurt more than they seem like they should. But they do. And so, with that said, when it hurts, put a hand on the place where it hurts. Take a deep breath and a breath out. And another. Do it again. Feel that pain, go into it, and just tell it, I feel you, I see you, you're allowed to be here, even if I may not like you yet, you're allowed to be here, you're allowed to reside in my heart or in my stomach or wherever it is. Even if we're not quite friends yet, I want to know what it is you're trying to tell me. I want to know what message it is you bring. I've lived a long time without listening to that message. And even if I can't accept that you're here, I want to listen to that message now. And that brings in acceptance. Just doing that brings in acceptance. And if you wait and you're quiet and still, a lot of times, clarity will work through you. Your intuition will work through you and give you an answer of things that may surprise you that you had no idea that's what that thing was about. But what I really encourage too is to just don't get too much in your head. You ask the question, and what comes is what comes. And that's, in my experience, sometimes it's easy to want to overanalyze or really, really get accurate. And so you dig deeper, and what comes up is what comes. And that's usually what is accurate. So ask the question, and what arises, that's your intuition telling you. That's what that is. That's what that is. And that's what that's about. And it gives you invaluable information, because I can go back into that situation, if it's a situation, and I can give myself the loving support that maybe I didn't have in that situation. So I recently went back into one where I had a surgery on my shoulder, and I had 2 different surgeries for a bone infection called osteomyelitis when I was 9 years old. And I had the second surgery, and I went back to the hospital because it got reinfected. I went for my second surgery, and I thought, hey, that was the easiest part. I'd made it through the first one and went through, and it was no problem. But they had stuffed, here's where the scars are about. They had stuffed a tunnel between it with gauze, full of gauze. And the idea was it was making a scab so it would stop draining, and they were going to take it out in the morning. Well, they did take it out, and I was completely awake. I'm under no pain medication. And it was excruciatingly painful. It was so bad that I wanted to, in the aftermath of that, I wanted to not experience life anymore. I was 9 years old. Here was this most excruciating pain that I've ever felt in my life. Just a raw pulling through my, bone, or I guess not bone, but my muscles, and just so raw and so painful, and it hurt, and I didn't want to experience that. It felt in that moment that I'd be better off to not experience life anymore if that was a possibility. And so it was traumatic. It was traumatic in that way. And so with my spiritual teacher the other day, we were able to go back into that instance, and I gave myself what I didn't get then. And that's the key, is that you can give yourself what you didn't get at the time when you wanted that. So, for example, I rewrite this. You go into your mind, and it's a meditative place, and you rewrite that situation. So I go back, and there I am, and I can see my little self there on the hospital bed right before he pulls out the gauze. And first I just start by saying, I am so sorry that you had to go through this. I'm so sorry. They should have put you on pain medication. There was no reason that you needed to go through that kind of pain. There just wasn't. And you did. And I hear you. And it hurts. And I'm sorry. And so you acknowledge that. And from there, we rewrite. So I go there, and I see my little self. I see the doctor coming in. He's on the side of me, and he's standing over the bed, and he says, okay, are you comfortable? And he makes it light, and he maybe cracks some jokes, makes it lighthearted like you would do for a kid, and make sure the pain medication is in me and it's numb enough that I'm not going to feel it to that great extent, and distracts me maybe. And I see all this in my mind's eye, and then he pulls out the gauze, and maybe I feel it maybe a little pinch or something, but it's no big deal. And he wraps it up, and oops, I don't know if it just cut off there, but yeah, so there's no pinch, or there's maybe a little pinch, no big deal. And then he just wraps it up, and it's good to go. It's good to go. It's good to go. And that's that. And so you can do that with circumstances that feel traumatic. Any kind of experience you remember, is you can go back, give yourself the love and support you wish you'd have had in the moment, and rewrite that experience for yourself. So try that out. Let me know how it is. All right, bye.